Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Berry. We're making this video because over the years, as I have dyed my beard, I don't dye my hair. This is natural hair color. More and more people have accused me of dyeing my hair as I've dyed my beard. My beard is almost completely white. I'm in my mid-50s, and this is what happens. Oftentimes our hair starts to go a little gray, and the beard just boom. I've let it get fairly white in order to do this video. Normally I don't let this much gray, white, it's really gray. I don't let this much come through because a beard allowed to get overly white requires a number of treatments. And what I find all the time, and what prompted me to do this video, is there's a couple of people, names to go unmentioned. I'm a physician, I work in a hospital. If they happen to see this video, I think they're going to know who they are. They do a couple of things wrong. They dye the whole beard, they leave the stuff on too long, and it's so obvious that their beard is dyed that it looks ridiculous. They'd be better running around with a white, gray beard. That's why we're doing this video. Now, I have been to colorists, I have been to dye experts, I was a Beverly Hills doctor, I've had it all done, and I really have found that using this inexpensive product works just as well. And I have to tell you, not to be disparaging with Larry King, but they've done hair color on him that just look hideous. And CNN allowed him to go on camera. I mean, Larry should put his glasses on and take a look. Now he's not on anymore. But so I find this is the Just for Men. I have to put it in my face so the videographer can get it. This is just the Just for Men brand. It's $5.99 to $8.99 depending on where you go. I wait till it's on sale and I get a whole bunch of them. My mistake when I first started picking color was I picked the wrong color, and I see it's the same mistake all the other guys are making out there too. The guys don't want to let anyone know that they're dyeing their beard because maybe they don't think it's masculine or whatever. And of course that's their issues, right? However, they picked the wrong color. When you see this hair, I'm looking in the mirror, so I'm not looking right at the camera. When you see it, you're like, oh, well, that's kind of a dark brown, right? Yeah. Well, I didn't know what color it was. I couldn't figure it out, and I'm not very good with color, so they give you this little hair swatch at the top, and you know, so this was all trial and error. The Just for Men has a mustache and beard, and they have a hair one. You want the mustache and beard, and as I'm going to show you in a minute, when it gets mixed, it's much thicker than what the hair one is, and I'll demonstrate why you need that. Maybe it intuitively makes sense. It didn't to me, but it certainly did over trial and error. They go from a color, I think, of a light brown of like M25, and it jumps up in increments of 5 to M30, M35, M40, M45, 45, 50, 55. I found that I really did best with the M55 Real Black. And I've used them all. The Real Black, once you get to a real black color, you've got to be very careful because it rapidly discolors your skin. Your nails will turn purple, so you have to be careful and not leave it on very long. The instructions in here say leave on for 5 minutes, and I've always found that to be wrong. 5 minutes is too long. 3 to 3.5 minutes is it, because it's better to use a little bit, dye it, go the next day, do it a little bit more. Because if you do the full 5 minutes, especially with the black, it discolors everything. You can't. I one day had to take a loofah sponge and scrub the side of my face because I had to go in the hospital and work, and I had all this dye over here, and I had to actually exfoliate my skin to get this shit off of it. All right. Okay, so that's just the introduction. We have color selection. It's kind of trial and error. Err on the side of getting the darker color. Whatever color you think it is, go to the next darker one. And we're going to go through the number of minutes and all. Don't use this. This stuff is crap. This touch of gray, no. Don't use it for your hair. I've used it. It's lousy. It looks like you stuck your head into Mount St. Helens right after the eruption, and you got all this ash, and your hair ends up just being this like ashen color. It doesn't look at all natural. I don't give a shit what they say. It doesn't. And I have not been reimbursed any monies. I've gotten nothing by Just for Men to do their product. Their product's good, it works. And it's, like I said, $5.99 to $8.99 depending on where you go. Next thing is, I'm here in my bathroom. I have a double sink. The sink is white. You're going to say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. No, you really need to get a towel and cover your sink where you're going to be at. Because if you don't, and I'm, again, not to brag, but I'm a doctor and I do tedious things in sewing and putting lines in people and I'm pretty good with my hands. But this is what the towel looks like after you've used it. This one's been 6 months. I mean, is this hair dye or poop? Hair dye. So this is how it looks, and I'm very careful. So your wife, husband, significant other, maid, housekeeper, whoever takes care of your bathroom, or you're going to regret if you don't cover up your damn sink. Get a towel that you don't care about. Get a couple of them that you can recycle them. And this one's actually been washed. But like I said, this is about every 6 months I change my towels. How do I know that? Because it's around Christmas time and 4th of July that I have to get new towels because this stuff eventually eats through it. The other thing I do is in preparation is I normally have nothing on up above, but considering all the stuff with Wiener and his texting and tweeting issues, I didn't want anyone to say, oh, look at that doctor. He's like, half nude on film. So I have a black t-shirt on. It's a t-shirt I don't care about. So if it gets this crap all over it, I won't care either. But usually I do this with a towel wrapped around me and I go into the shower afterwards and that's how I rinse. That's another whole story, rinsing this stuff in a shower because it'll splatter and stain your walls. So you have to be very careful and it splatters and goes everywhere. It's almost like, ever gotten that soot on your hand from your fireplace, that black stuff? It just spreads like crazy. So that's the end of the introduction. We're going to next come back to mixing and applying. One more thing though with introduction. Do this before you shower. And in fact, when I know I'm going to do the beard dyeing, the day before I make sure if I'm going to shower that morning, and don't shave. So don't shave, don't shower. If you can go a day or two, I have, I didn't shave yesterday, so this is a second day's growth. Some of you can go days without it noticing, and I've never shaved every day. It tears my skin up. But again, no shower, no shave. The reason for the not showering is because you're going to shower this off, and you want to keep the oil on your skin. I have found over the years that the longer you go without showering, the more oil that gets on your skin, and the oil repels the color. And so when you go to paint this stuff on here, then it gets on the skin, but it doesn't stay in the skin as rapidly because there's natural oil on the skin to repel it. The other thing you can use, keep the camera there, I'm going to be off camera here for a second, is the jar of Vaseline, of course, which, don't know where that went. Look, at my age, you don't use that. So, I mean, for the young people there, you're not going to watch this because you're not gray. If you old people are using the Vaseline for things other than... Here's what I use the Vaseline for. I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, there's other lubricants if you want some sexual thing. You don't need Vaseline. It's a mess. That's another video. I use the Vaseline around here when I go scuba diving. And I sometimes, if I have a lot of beard like today, although I'm doing a video, I'll dab Vaseline in these areas here and around here so that it doesn't stain your skin. You have to be very careful. You need a Q-tip to do that. So once again, no shower, no shave. Let's get started.